Rey Misterio, and I represent Mexico.
Think about the most fearless man in the history of sports entertainment. You're probably picturing a 5'6" giant slayer wearing a mask, standing across the ring from monsters 3 times his size. For over 30 years, Rey Mysterio has been the ultimate underdog. He stared down The Undertaker, survived the wrath of Brock Lesnar, and traded blows with giants like Big Show. To us, he looks invincible, a man who simply doesn't know the meaning of the word quit. But behind the mask, away from the bright lights and the pyro, Rey is a human being. And believe it or not, there were moments in his career where his heart was racing for all the wrong reasons. There were men who didn't just pose a challenge. They actually struck fear into the heart of the master of the 619. Before we dive into this list of the 10 men who actually intimidated the legendary Rey Mysterio, I have a quick question for you. If you had to step into a wrestling ring tonight, who is the one superstar past or present that would make you want to turn around and run out of the building? Is it a powerhouse like Goldberg, or someone more psychological like Bray Wyatt? Drop a name in the comments right now. I'm curious to see who you guys think is the scariest of all time. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on one of the greatest careers in wrestling history. We often talk about Rey's victories, but we rarely talk about his nerves. In recent interviews and career retrospectives, Rey has opened up about the specific competitors who made him question his career choices. We aren't just talking about tough matches. We're talking about the heavy hitters, the stiff workers, and the legends whose presence alone changed the energy in the locker room. From his early days in ALA and ECW to the grandest stages of WWE, these are the 10 wrestlers Rey Mysterio actually feared. To understand why Rey felt this way, you have to look at how he started. Rey was a teenager when he began wrestling. He was often the smallest guy in the room by a massive margin. In an era where wrestling was dominated by steroid icons and giants, Rey had to rely on speed. But speed doesn't help you much when someone like Vader or Bam Bam Bigelow catches you midair. Number 1, The Undertaker. The Undertaker. Now, Rey and Taker are close friends today, but Rey has admitted that early in his WWE run, the aura of the dead man was overwhelming. It wasn't just the size, it was the way Taker carried himself. Rey recalls that when those gongs hit and the lights went out, the temperature in the arena felt like it actually dropped. When they finally faced off, Rey realized that Taker wasn't just big, he was incredibly fast for his size. Rey mentioned that the fear came from the realization that there was nowhere to hide. You can't outrun a shadow, and for a long time, the dead man was the shadow looming over Rey's career. Number 2, Eddie Guerrero. Next up is someone who might surprise you because of their close bond. Eddie Guerrero. But wait, why would Rey fear his brother? The fear here wasn't about physical injury. It was about the intensity. During their famous 2005 rivalry, Eddie tapped into a dark, villainous side that was terrifyingly real. Rey has spoken about how Eddie would get a certain look in his eyes, a Latino heat that burned a bit too hot. Eddie was a perfectionist and he wrestled with a chip on his shoulder. Rey feared letting Eddie down in the ring, but he also feared the sheer physical aggression Eddie brought when he was on. Every chop, every suplex was delivered with a snap that reminded Rey that even your best friend can be your most dangerous enemy. Number 3, Brock Lesnar. Then we have the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. This one is self-explanatory, but Rey's perspective makes it even scarier. Rey was there during Brock's rookie year in 2002. He saw Brock manhandle veterans like they were children. Rey has often recounted the story of Brock's strength being unnatural. He said that when Brock grabs you, it doesn't feel like a human grip. It feels like hydraulic machinery. There's a famous clip of Brock swinging Rey like a baseball bat while Rey is strapped to a stretcher. Rey later admitted that was one of the few times He genuinely feared for his long-term health. When you're in the ring with Brock, you aren't just wrestling. You're trying to survive a car wreck. Number 4, Big Show. Moving into the realm of the big men, we have to talk about the Big Show. Imagine being Rey's size and looking up at a 7-foot, 500-pound giant. Rey mentioned that the sheer logistics of wrestling Big Show were frightening. If Big Show tripped or fell the wrong way, he could literally crush Rey's career in a second. Rey feared the margin of error. In one specific instance, Big Show swung Rey into a ring post while Rey was inside a body bag. The impact was so loud it echoed through the arena. Rey later said that the fear of being discarded, like a toy by someone that large, never truly goes away, no matter how many times you beat them. Number 5, Scott Norton. The 5th name is a legend from the hard-hitting days of WCW and Japan. Scott Norton. For those who don't remember, Norton was a world champion arm wrestler before he was a pro wrestler. He was a brick wall of pure muscle. Rey encountered him in WCW, and he described Norton as the stiffest man he ever worked with. In wrestling terms, stiff means the punches and slams are landing for real. Rey said that every time he saw his name next to Norton's on the script, he knew he was going home with bruises that would last a month. It was a physical fear of the sheer pain that came with a Scott Norton powerbomb. Number 6, Sid Vicious. Then there's Psycho Sid. Sid Vicious was a massive human being with an unpredictable energy. Rey has noted that Sid didn't always know his own strength. When you're a high flyer like Rey, you rely on your partner to catch you safely. With Sid, Rey never knew if he was going to be caught or just swatted out of the air like a fly. That unpredictability creates a psychological fear. You're performing a 450 splash into a maybe, and that maybe could result in a broken neck. Number 7, Kurt Angle. Number 7 brings us to a man who changed the business. Kurt Angle. Rey's fear of Kurt was based on respect and pace. Kurt Angle didn't have a slow gear. When Rey debuted in WWE at SummerSlam 2002 against Kurt, he was terrified. Not because Kurt was a monster, but because Kurt was an Olympic gold medalist who could out-wrestle anyone on the planet. Rey knew that if he slipped up for 1 second, Kurt would snatch his ankle and it would be game over. The fear of being exposed by a superior athlete kept Rey up at night before their big matches. Number 8, Great Khali. Next on the list is Great Khali. Now, Khali wasn't the most technical wrestler, but his size was otherworldly. Rey has mentioned that standing next to Khali made him feel like a toddler. The fear here was the brain chop. Khali's hands were the size of Rey's entire head. Rey genuinely feared that one misplaced strike from Khali could cause a legitimate concussion or worse. It was the fear of the uncontrollable giant. Number 9, Haku or Mung. The 9th person is a name that commands respect everywhere. Haku or Mung. In the wrestling world, Haku is widely considered the toughest man to ever live. Legend has it he once bit a man's nose off in a real bar fight. Rey has echoed the locker room sentiment that you never, ever wanted to get on Haku's bad side. Even in a choreographed match, the aura of Haku was so intimidating that Rey said he felt like he had to walk on eggshells. You don't wrestle Haku. You ask him for permission to exist in his ring. Number 10, Psychosis. Finally, we have a man who was Rey's ultimate rival, Psychosis. Back in their AA and ECW days, these two put on matches that defied gravity. But Rey feared Psychosis because they were both young, hungry, and willing to die to make a name for themselves. They took risks that were borderline suicidal. Rey feared that their mutual ambition would eventually lead to a tragedy in the ring. Every time they climbed a 20-foot ladder or jumped off a balcony, Rey felt the fear of the ultimate price. Why does this matter? It matters because it humanizes a superhero. We see Rey Mysterio as this indestructible force of nature, but knowing he felt fear makes his accomplishments even more impressive. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's being terrified of Brock Lesnar or The Undertaker and walking into the ring anyway. It shows the physical and mental toll this business takes on the athletes we love. Rey didn't become a legend because he was fearless. He became a legend because he conquered those fears every single night for 30 years. Looking forward, Rey is now in the mentor phase of his career. He's passing these lessons down to his son, Dominic, and the next generation of Lucha Libre stars. He's teaching them that it's okay to be nervous and it's okay to respect the danger. The legacy of Rey Mysterio isn't just the titles. It's the fact that a man who was once afraid of giants became the biggest giant killer in history. Rey Mysterio's career is a testament to the power of the human spirit. He took that fear, bottled it up, and turned it into fuel. He proved that no matter how big the opponent is, or how much your hands are shaking, you have the power to overcome. He truly is the biggest little man in history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mind of a legend, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you want more storytelling and wrestling breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Before you go, I have one last question. Out of the 10 wrestlers we talked about today, who do you think was Rey's toughest opponent? Was it the power of Lesnar or the psychology of Eddie Guerrero? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.